Hi there, my name's Chris Hamilton. I'm a software developer. I've been building applications and mobile apps for 15 years. Built my first website in 1999. So I'm old. But for real, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is I wanted to explain some common myths about both web apps and mobile apps. So if you're thinking about building an app, you're thinking about building a website, I just want you to know a couple truths about it, and I want to debunk a couple myths. So, myth number one. Myth number one. An app is a business, or a web app is a business. And what I mean by that is, all you need is an app, all you need is a website, and you got a business. That couldn't be further from the truth. I know it's obvious when I say it, but you'd be surprised how many people it's almost like they seem to think that if they just built an app, they've got a business. And so for their startup, it's all about the developers when they really should be freaking out about the salespeople. I mean, you don't really see people running up to salespeople and going, "Hey man, I want you to start a distribution channel for me and I'll pay you in equity and come on, it'd be great." But people run up to developers all the time trying to get them to build an app. And in my opinion, that's just backwards. An app is only half the battle. A business needs sales, it needs admin, it needs a lot more than an app developer can provide. I've seen it. You get too tech heavy and nobody sells anything. So an app is not a business. So if you're thinking about building a mobile app, I strongly encourage you to think about how you're going to sell it. And this goes to our second myth. Second myth about apps and sites is that you need an app or a website to start selling. And that is bullshit. You can sell anything to anyone at any time. You do not need an app or a site to start selling your product or service. You need to get out there and start calling people. If you absolutely must build an app or a site to make yourself feel good before you go start selling, by all means get on the MVP bandwagon, which is minimum viable product, which I'll talk about that in a later podcast. I'm not so keen on that. I think you should be able to get out there and at least start jamming your face into your market really with nothing more than a brochure. If even that. In fact, I take that back. You don't need a brochure. You don't need anything. Just get out there and sell it. Now, I strongly suggest you sell something you know about, but I really just don't think you need that much. So myth number two is that you need an app or a site to sell. You hear so often people are like, "I'm going to start selling when I get my app built. I'm going to start selling when..." No, you're not. You're never going to start selling. You just don't sell. So get your ass out there and sell. You don't need an app. Myth number three with apps, and this one's kind of hard to explain, but is that that there's like this, it's like the guy who says he paid, $0 in taxes on $7 million in income or whatever. Like there's always somebody or fish stories, but like you always hear about well, so-and-so got his app built for nothing. So-and-so got his app built for equity in his company. Yes, this happens, so I can't say it's completely false, but it's really rare. And going up to a software developer and asking them to build your app for equity is almost equivalent to kicking them in the nuts. Especially if they don't know you, and especially if they're busy, which there are, because they're a software developer, so they have a lot of things to work on. No, they don't want to build your freaking app for equity, okay? So in your business plan, don't have your app as $0 and equity for a startup developer at like 2%. That's just silly. It's not going to happen. You're probably going to have to give away, if you don't have anything, you're going to have to give away a huge chunk of your company if you're doing it for equity, and you're probably not going to want to do that. And then if you're paying, it's going to be expensive because developers are are very expensive right now. So this is the third myth, that you're going to find some developer, some unicorn to build your app for equity. I would give that dream up and think instead how you're going to convince somebody that your idea is good enough. And I think the way you do that is A, you remember that your app is not your business, so you need a strong model and you need to prove it. B, you need to get your ass out there and you need to sell before you build an app. At the very least, and by the way, when I say before you build an app, remember, you can go on Squarespace, WordPress, you can go on these places and slap a template up, change a couple words and have a website instantly. You didn't need to go build an app. You didn't need to go build some giant system. Just put the value proposition out on a Squarespace or WordPress site. Whatever your widget is, say it. I mean, this is really the genesis of Kickstarter, right? Run a Kickstarter, but don't think you need an app before you go sell. You don't. All right, that's all I got. My name is Chris Hamilton. Thanks for watching.